Hello, I'm Kimilia and you're watching KiniNews. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim does not think that Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar should go on leave. He said this is as the probe into migrant worker approvals by the Human Resources Ministry is still ongoing and there has been no charges against him. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said there was no need for Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar to go on leave over the MACC probe into migrant worker approvals. He said the case is still at the investigation stage and no charges have been pressed against the minister. When quizzed on the matter today, Anwar said if there are no charges, then nothing happens. But if there are charges pressed in courts, that would be a different story. He added that they would leave it to the MACC to investigate. Anwar also urged the public not to speculate beyond what has been reported so far. He said the important principle here is that, when it comes to the matter of governance and anti-corruption, the government is strict and did not care who they are or which party they are from. Earlier, DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke also said there had been no instructions for the Human Resources Minister to go on leave.
Well, first of all, he is not a suspect yet right now. As far as I know, he's just giving his cooperation as a minister on this case. I mean, as far as we are concerned, he's not a suspect in this case. He is just giving his cooperation. So at this point of time, we will still observe the development. So there is no instruction from the PM for him to take leave at this point of time.
The probe in the migrant worker approvals has resulted in at least 2 of Sivakumar's senior aides being detained, while the minister himself was questioned by the MACC. It was previously reported that Sivakumar has suspended the pair and another senior aide. Still on Sivakumar, the minister has denied reports that the MACC raided his house and office in relation to the probe. Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar has denied that the MACC raided his house and office. He said this in response to a report on the alleged raid in relation to a probe on migrant worker approvals.
YB, is it true that your house was raided yesterday? There was a report on YB. Yeah, that's why we wanted to check. No. YB, do you know if there will be more arrests?
Please lah. Focus on NTW, please. Kita akan bagi kerjasama. Okay? Kalau Kementerian Semua Manusia akan bagi semua kerjasama dalam siasatan ini.
Alright, thank you. Thank you, YB.
Thank you.
Earlier today, Utusan Malaysia reported that Sivakumar's house was raided by the MACC. This came after he gave his statement to the MACC yesterday. A MACC source also told Malaysia Kini that a team had gone to the minister's residence and office, but it was not a raid. Without elaborating, the source said officers had visited Sivakumar's house and office, but there was no raid. The source also claimed that Sivakumar, who arrived at the Commission's headquarters in Putrajaya at around 10 a.m. yesterday, left more than 10 hours later. However, they were not sure if it took 10 hours to record Sivakumar's statement or if he was in the building due to other matters. Malaysia Kini has contacted MACC Chief Commissioner Azam Baki for comment. Meanwhile, a ministry source has revealed that Sivakumar has suspended 3 senior aides, including the private secretary and special functions officer, who were detained by the MACC. Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar has suspended 3 senior ministry aides. This includes the private secretary and special functions officer who were detained by the MACC over a graft probe on migrant worker approvals. A ministry source told Malaysia Kini the 3 officers were suspended by the minister with immediate effect. They added that the 3rd officer suspended is also a special functions officer. However, the source claimed to be in the dark on why the 3rd officer was suspended. Yesterday, it was reported that Sivakumar had given a statement to the MACC. According to Bernama, Sivakumar's aide said that the minister was at the MACC headquarters at 10 a.m. and left 30 minutes later. The MACC's dragnet began on Thursday with the arrest of one of Sivakumar's aide, followed by another arrest on Friday. Sivakumar was also reported to have said that he was ready to cooperate with authorities, especially the MACC, over the matter. On Friday, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim cautioned against jumping to conclusions regarding the case. He said the investigation carried out by the MACC is in line with his previous instructions for authorities to act if they have a basis against anyone. He asked for the public against getting ahead of themselves in predicting anything and was quoted as saying by Berita Harian that as of now, he had no information other than being informed of the arrests. So what exactly did Ismail Sabri say about the government and what led him to say it? Let's find out. DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke has advised former Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob to not be so bleak about the future of the coalition government. This came after Ismail Sabri commented on friction between UMNO and DAP following a war of words between some figures within the two parties. Loke also questioned if there were any other ulterior motives behind the former Premier's remarks.
Jadi janganlah sebagai mantan Perdana Menteri, dia tiap-tiap hari ingin nak lihat perpecahan dalam kerajaan ini. Jadi saya tak tahulah apakah hasrat beliau seolah-olah nak lihat perpecahan dalam kerajaan perpaduan pada hari ini.
Loke added that the coalition government members were working hard to strengthen their relationship. However, he did not discount that there were those who want to see friction among the government parties. Regardless, he said differences of opinion are to be expected, and he did not see it as a war of words. Asked whether he would advise DAP leaders to not trade barbs with UMNO anymore, Loke said that as a democratic leader, he would not impose a gag order. He said his role is to strengthen the government, and he couldn't stop everyone from expressing their personal opinion. Earlier, Utusan Malaysia had reported on Ismail Sabri warning of further friction between UMNO and DAP following a war of words between some figures within the two parties. Anthony Loke has hit out at Ismail Sabri Yaakob. This was over his remarks on the unity government. Former UMNO Vice President Ismail Sabri Yaakob has warned that friction between parties in the government could get worse if there is no mutual respect between leaders and members. Ismail Sabri said this while commenting on the war of words between some figures within UMNO and DAP. Utusan Malaysia quoted the former Prime Minister as saying that forced marriage will not work and it must be consensual. He added that in a forced marriage, there are no feelings for each other leading to cracks. According to Ismail Sabri, this is just the beginning, but there are already cracks with DAP commenting about UMNO and UMNO commenting about DAP. He said there cannot be a marriage between top leaders only. There must be a marriage of those at the grassroots too. If not, this is what would lead to open criticism. Last week, Perak DAP Vice Chief Abdul Aziz Bari had said that UMNO's role in the upcoming 6 state elections was still uncertain because they do not appear to be able to draw Malay support. In response, Johor UMNO Deputy Chief Nur Jazlan Muhammad said Malay distrust of DAP was posing a challenge for the party to win back Malay support. Nur Jazlan stressed that UMNO was committed to making the BN Pakatan Harapan alliance work and thus did not draw attention to the matter. However, he said when they are quiet, DAP is the one who makes such statements. Back to Anthony Loke. The Transport Minister has refuted his predecessor, Wee Ka Siong, over claims of expensive flight tickets to Tawau. Transport Minister Anthony Loke has refuted Wee Ka Siong's claims that the airfare for the Kuala Lumpur to Tawau Sabah route on April 20th hit 3,138 ringgit for an economy class ticket. In a statement, he said he had contacted Malaysia Airlines Group CEO Izham Ismail and confirmed that all economy class tickets for the Kuala Lumpur to Tawau flight on that day are sold out and there are only business class tickets left. Loke added that Izham also confirmed that the ticket price as claimed is not for the economy class but for the business class, and it was actually 2,863 ringgit and not 3,138 ringgit. He added that these are facts which must be corrected, and as the former transport minister, he was sure that we understands the difference between business class and economy class tickets. Lok also thanked Wee for his concern over the issue of exorbitant flight ticket prices and his views on airline capacity, and said he would provide additional facts on flight capacity for this year's Aidilfitri celebrations. In an immediate response, Wee said he had checked several times to ensure the price that he saw was for economy class tickets. He said he had even asked 3 of his aides to check on the same application used by several complainants from Tawau last night, and they all had the same results. He added that he was speaking based on facts, and if the information on the application is not accurate, the ministry should take immediate action to protect the consumers. We had made the claims yesterday on a post on Facebook with a screenshot showing a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Tawau costing 3,138 ringgit. He said airlines have no excuses not to increase flight frequency as long as there is capacity, especially now that passenger load is no longer capped as it was during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The former Transport Minister also lamented that the ministry's standard answers on issues pertaining to exorbitant flight tickets are a hard pill to swallow for the people. He said it was disappointing that the ministry's usual response to such issues is that it has no control over airfares and that prices are determined by a dynamic mechanism. Siti Noor Amira Abdullah, who was at the center of a controversial stand-up comedy case, has pleaded guilty to an alternative charge and was fined 8,000 ringgit today. The Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court has fined Siti Noor Amira Abdullah 8,000 ringgit in default of 4 months jail. This was over her controversial stand-up comedy routine last year. The court handed down the sentence after she pleaded guilty to an alternative charge under Section 298 of the Penal Code of intentionally hurting the religious feelings of others with her act. The offense was committed at the Crack House Comedy Club, Taman Tun Dr. Ismail at 6 p.m. on June 4th last year. With today's outcome, the prosecution would not be proceeding with the main case against Siti Noor Amira under Section 298A of the Penal Code. This provision deals with the offense of causing disharmony, disunity, enmity, hatred, ill will, or prejudicing maintenance of harmony or unity on grounds of religion between persons or groups of persons professing the same or different religions. Her lawyer confirmed the outcome, adding that she felt remorse and wants to move on with her life as she is now married. Last year, a video of Siti Noor Amira taking off her headscarf and baju kurung on stage at a comedy club went viral on social media. Siti Noor Amira claimed trial to the charge under Section 298A on July 13th last year. Noh Omar has revealed that he met Najib in court earlier this year. He also revealed the advice given to him by the former UMNO president. Former Selangor UMNO chief Noh Omar has revealed that Najib Abdul Razak advised him to be patient and not turn his back on the party. Speaking to reporters in Tanjung Karang, Selangor yesterday, Noh said he was still a strong supporter of Najib. According to Utusan Malaysia, Noh said he was still close to Najib and managed to see him in court after being sacked from UMNO. He said they had exchanged greetings and Najib had then advised him to be patient and not leave the party. Noh also claimed that Perikatan Nasional had offered him to be their candidate after BN did not allow him to defend the Tanjung Karang seat. However, he said he firmly rejected PN's invitation out of loyalty and love for UMNO. He added that he is a party person, but in the end, action was taken against him for upholding the truth. Noh was sacked from UMNO in late January. He was initially handed a 6-year suspension during an UMNO Supreme Council meeting. However, he protested during the meeting and asked to be sacked from the party instead. His expulsion, along with that of former UMNO Youth Chief Khairi Jamaluddin, sent shockwaves as both were considered key UMNO figures. At the time, the party expelled or suspended several members accused of sabotaging BN during the 2022 general election. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Kimilea. Thanks for watching.